Now at 9, students in Carthage celebrate the 100th day of school with some special presentations. Plus, Missouri Southern education students take some time to show elementary students different activities for a healthy heart.
The countdown to Super Bowl 58 is on. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a look at how alcohol can influence your parenting style during football's biggest night. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities have arrested 2 suspects in a weekend shooting death in Coffeyville, Kansas. Police are seeking second-degree murder charges against 28-year-old Michael McGinnis, Jr. of Liberty, Kansas, and 50-year-old William McGinnis of South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. They're under arrest for the shooting of 39-year-old Ramon Burnett at a Coffeyville, Kansas home Saturday night. Burnett has since died at the hospital. Authorities have not yet released many details. An Independence, Kansas man will head back to court next week for a hearing in an attempted murder case. 46-year-old Jesse Lewis is charged with attempted first-degree murder in the stabbing of Mary Lou Van Oster. Authorities say it happened on January 30th. Lewis is also charged with fleeing from law enforcement, interference with a law enforcement officer, criminal threat, and theft. Independence, Kansas Police Department announces a new online crash reporting system. The new system will allow users to report any non-injury accidents that occur within the city limits, whether they happen on public streets or private parking lots. And you can find out more information on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. Temperatures back into the 50s. We had the rain over the weekend, which kind of stinks on the weekend, but we needed it. So 56 was our high, well above our average high of 47 degrees. We started at 34 during the morning hours. In fact, we're going to warm up a little bit more as we go through the next couple days. All right, no rain today, but for the month, and it all occurred this weekend, almost an inch at the Joplin Airport. So almost 3 inches for the year. We're above where we were at this time last year, so that's good. Temperatures upper 30s to lower 40s will drop back near freezing later on tonight. Pretty much clear skies. We're going to stay with the clear skies as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We'll drop back to about 32, but I do think we're going to see some patchy fog. So if you're going to be on the roads late tonight into the morning, watch out for that. Of course, we're going to look at our next storm system coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, today marks the 100th day of school for Carthage students. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us how they celebrated the occasion.
Today is a day the students at Carthage schools have been looking forward to all year.
So today is the 100th day of school. Every day we've been counting up to this day during our calendar time.
And in no place is the day more special than a kindergarten class.
It's a big day for kindergarten. It's a number that we don't normally see as 5 years old. So it's just really important. We count by tens, we count by 100s. It's also one of our standards in kindergarten.
13, 14, 15.
Teachers worked to design special projects to mark the occasion. Students got to decorate 100 gumballs, lick a lollipop 100 times, and create special crowns.
We made our crowns and we also got to put stickers on it. J-K-L-M-N-O-P.
Students also created projects to bring to school to celebrate the big day.
At our house, we put little, we drawed 100 and then we put a little sprinkle thingies on it.
You feel 100 days smarter?
Yeah!
Oh, wonderful.
But teachers say the best thing about the 100th day is that students can look back and see how much they've grown.
I gotten smarter in the last 100 days.
In Carthage, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, kindergarten teachers say students have around 70 more days of school, and they will keep counting those as well. 70 days to get smarter. Well, Carthage students had another reason to celebrate. With the Super Bowl coming up, they're taking part in a special Super Bowl Spirit Week, and students dressed up as Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes for Mahomes Monday. Students sported Mahomes' number 15 jersey and his iconic headband to mark the occasion.
I am dressing like Patrick Mahomes because we are having Super Bowl Spirit Week.
and we encouraged kids to dress up like Patrick Mahomes and show their spirit for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Special days honoring the Chiefs' journey to the Super Bowl will continue the rest of this week. Other things include Reed Wins Day and Travis Throwback Thursday. Well, students at Webster Primary Center in Webb City learned about the heart with the help of MSSU students. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
For more than 20 years, every February for Heart Awareness Month, students at Webster Primary learn about the inner workings of the heart by running, hopping, and crawling.
It keeps your body moving. So if you have a blue ball over here, that means your blood cell's not good. But when you have a red blood cell, that means it's good.
Performing various activities with red and blue balls shows the students how demanding the cardiovascular system is.
And you just do it again, keep going it again and again.
Was your heart working when you were running around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet so. Students from Missouri Southern's Elementary Education Department were invited to assist with the activities.
I had so much fun. I felt like a little kid again. I was going through the tunnels with him and jumping over, and I could tell that he really enjoyed it, and he had a lot more fun, it seemed like, having a partner with him and just being able to like race, and it was just super fun.
Stewart says she's looking forward to an environment like this when she becomes a teacher.
We get to see the fun side of things where we can look forward to these days in our future teaching career, because teaching can be stressful sometimes, and so when we get to see days like this where our kids are having fun and effective learning is taking place, it is really encouraging for us future teachers for sure.
Reporting in Webb City, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Looks like they had a lot of fun. All grade levels at Webster Primary Center got to participate. Well, coming up with the opening of a VA clinic in Iola, Kansas, comes the closing of 3 others in the area. We'll have the details. 3 VA clinics in the area will be closing as the VA Eastern Kansas healthcare system announces a new community-based outpatient clinic in Iola, Kansas. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Veterans who receive care in Fort Scott, Garnett, and Chanute will transfer their care to the new Iola clinic. So that's how I knew that they were closing.
Tamitago is one of more than 850 veterans who will be impacted by the closure of 3 VA clinics in southeast Kansas. He fears the changes will be a hardship for some fellow veterans.
I can still do it. I mean, I'm fairly good health, but there's people that's not, and older and can't get around as good and have trouble seeing and everything else.
It takes Tamitago about 25 minutes to drive from his home to the current Fort Scott VA clinic. But once they move to Iola, if he chooses to go there, the drive should take about 50 minutes.
There is that concern of drive time. One thing is a lot of telehealth. We're trying to push that out a little further to that area.
According to the VA officials, the clinics being closed are part-time ones. They say the new location will offer full-time services 5 days a week.
The veterans who are currently patients at the 3 clinics that are closing, they are welcomed in the new Iola clinic, but they could also choose to go to the one in Parsons or in Kansas City. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. This consolidation to one central location affords them an opportunity to still receive care, to choose where they want to receive care.
They also say the changes are a chance to provide additional services they were not able to provide in part-time clinics.
We're looking at all options of what their needs, what they may be eligible for, and really trying to make it as easy as it can be when a change and a transition occurs.
Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Iola VA is expected to open in spring of 2024, and you can watch the complete interview with the VA officers at our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And there you can also find details about the in-person information sessions they will be offering this week in Garnett, Chanute, Iola, and Fort Scott. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, some local high school football standouts signed to continue their careers at the college level.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. We had sunshine returning and temperatures not that bad. Most of us into the mid-50s during the afternoon. It looks good out there right now. Of course, we're looking from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam on top of Cornell, looking northeast through downtown Joplin. We're dry after the rain that we saw over the weekend. Temperatures dropping back, most of us upper 30s to lower 40s at this point in time, but I do think we'll back down near freezing later on tonight. Plus, it was a little bit breezy today. The winds have kind of calmed down. So as we get closer to that dew point and the wind's fairly calm, we're going to get some patchy fog out there late tonight into the morning hours. So watch out for that. All right, the winds stay decently light tomorrow. They start to switch back out the south. But look at this. They get moving again tomorrow night and into Wednesday. We're going to return with gusts kind of in that 30 upwards to 35 mile per hour range, maybe even a little bit stronger once we get into Wednesday evening. Clear skies, we look fine as we go through the rest of the overnight hours tonight. This is kind of our weather right now. We have a big ridge of high pressure to our west. That will give us pretty good conditions for the next couple days. Then we'll start to focus on our next storm system, which is out across the western third of the country. That will start to affect us by Thursday. Not a lot of moisture, but it will change our weather up some. All right, let me walk you through the week. We're going to stop this early tomorrow morning, 32 Stockton, 33 in Monette, Miami 30, Pittsburgh 32. As we go through the morning, we should get into the low to mid 50s by noon. Most of us right around 60 or 61 during the afternoon. Clouds increase tomorrow night. We'll stay dry, nothing underneath them, and we won't get as cold. We'll drop back into low to mid 40s. On Wednesday, a lot of clouds. Those winds start to pick up across the region, but still, we're going to have high temperatures, 59 Fort Scott, 62 in Miami, Bentonville, up to about 60 degrees. Wednesday night, a few random light showers. Trying to get in here. Here's about midnight, some spotty little showers pushing through into Thursday morning. Not a huge deal, but we are going to have some showers out there. All right, here's your day planner for you. Tuesday, 51 by 11, 57 by 1, 60 by 3 p.m. So even warmer than what we saw today. All right, so this system pushes through on Thursday. Get a break on Friday. Look good. Lower 60s. Overall, Saturday looks pretty good. We have clouds increasing, but if we go into Super Bowl Sunday, a lot of people go into Super Bowl parties. We are going to have to watch for the potential of some rain pushing through, maybe even switching over to a little bit of snow by the time we get into Sunday night. So we'll watch that as we go through the week. All right, let's go 60 on your Tuesday, 61 on Wednesday, 66 on Thursday with those showers early. Friday, great. Saturday, pretty nice. Showers, cooler, back in on Super Bowl Sunday.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Well, 5.1 magnitude earthquake shook Prague, Oklahoma on Friday night. Fox's Alexa Mostrom speaks with residents to find out how they're holding up.
People all over the state felt the shaking of an earthquake near Prague, Oklahoma. We drove to Prague and talked with some people who felt the earthquake.
Well, we were laying in bed, sound asleep, and all of a sudden the whole bed started shaking. And first thing you say, what the heck? And after it was gone, we go, earthquake.
I spoke with Rick Dawson, the owner of Prague Bakery. He told me this wasn't the biggest earthquake he's felt.
Well, we had some things fall, like we have an air conditioner, the lid fell off, and a couple of things were on the floor, but we didn't see any apparent damage.
I asked Dawson if he ever expected to be experiencing earthquakes in Oklahoma.
You know, we just dealt with tornadoes, not earthquakes.
I spoke with Jerry, a road maintenance supervisor for Lincoln County. He told me the day after earthquakes is a busy day for them.
We are fixing to go do our bridge inspections, our local protocol for post-earthquake inspections.
I asked him what he looks for when doing bridge inspections.
The first signs we're looking for are detailed signs as far as breaking in the concrete or anything that's changed, anything that looks different, and then we'll go underneath the bridge and look for other damage underneath.
He says the first sign of trouble is concrete that's out of place. If you see that, call your local law enforcement.
Well, that earthquake was even felt by some people in Joplin, Pittsburgh, and elsewhere around the 4 states. It didn't cause any serious damage in our area, but it might have some people wondering if their insurance would provide coverage against earthquakes.
Your typical homeowner's policy doesn't cover earthquake, just like how it doesn't cover flood insurance. Certain houses, especially if the house is all brick, made out of concrete, insulated concrete forms, anything where if there's any ground movement, there could be some substantial damage outside of just maybe some foundation cracking, that's where earthquake might be worth looking into.
Many insurance companies stopped insuring earthquakes in the 1990s after projections suggested that a major earthquake could potentially bankrupt them. Well, coming up, the Biden administration strikes back.
U.S. missiles strike Houthi targets in Yemen as the White House says its response to the drone strike in Jordan that killed 3 Americans is just beginning. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the latest coming up.
The Internal Revenue Service has a friendly reminder for some taxpayers about a credit they may be overlooking. For the 2022 tax year, taxpayers received an average of $2,541. The tax agency says when claimed, it could provide families with 3 or more kids with a credit of up to $7,430. Taxpayers between 25 and 64 who don't have a qualifying child can still get up to $600. That's a big difference. With change of heart from Missouri Governor Mike Parson, last year he vetoed funding from Missouri Task Force 1, but this year the governor is asking for $1.3 million. Chris Bryan explains how that money would be used.
Missouri Task Force 1 has provided search and rescue efforts across Missouri and the United States with its first deployment in 2001 to Ground Zero at the World Trade Center.
Although nobody in this building of the Capitol agrees on everything 100% of the time, we all know that Missouri Task Force 1 is vital to not just the state of Missouri, but to the entire country.
Task Force 1 is one of 28 urban search and rescue FEMA teams in the United States. From canine handlers to doctors, the team has more than 40,000 pounds of equipment and is designed to be self-sufficient for up to 72 hours while on deployment.
Not every member of the task force gets to deploy, and so if we have new members that come on that've never experienced that, the best time to do that is during a training exercise. And
more than 200 first responders from across the state, including right here in the Ozarks, make up the team. The $1.3 million the governor is asking for will cover the cost of training along with other expenses.
What that will be used for, the core amount to task force is $225,000. Training, extensive training is $500,000, and then for equipment and other essentials is $619,250. So it comes out to
The task force trained in Georgia last year to get firsthand experience of what deployment is like.
doing the advanced training, live scenario type stuff, it is the best training that we can get and the most lifelike training that we can have anywhere in the country. So it's vital that our people get that training. It's also tenfold where we can involve the state of Missouri. They can see it from the State Emergency Operations Center floor, the SEOC floor. Really what we're emulating is that training that may happen or something that would happen within the state of Missouri. So very vital that we have that funding for this training.
But for one lawmaker, she understands why the veto had to happen.
The state constitution requires us to have a balanced budget, and so we can't spend more money than we take in. And so every line item is important to look at and review carefully each and every year because revenue.
The Boone County Fire Protection District in Columbia is the official home base for Task Force 1. The Assistant Fire Chief, Gail Blumenkamp, says the training last year got scaled back because of the lack of funds and hopes that this will change this year.
So with this funding from the state and the advanced training that we can do, it gives everybody that opportunity that if they haven't deployed to get that experience, get that training. And so when the real deal happens, they're prepared for it even more.
Well, up next, Jason Kelce may have spent his entire career with the Eagles, but it's his shirtless celebration of the Chiefs getting remembered with a figurine. A toy company is turning an NFL player's off-the-field celebration into a figurine. Funko is releasing a Jason Kelce shirtless pop character. The figurine is in reference to the Philadelphia Eagles player cheering on his brother Travis and the Kansas City Chiefs, who beat the Buffalo Bills last month. The Funko Pop will only be available for 72 hours starting today, and it's $25. I bet they're almost sold out. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. With a new $100 billion bill proposed to provide funding for security at the southern border, lawmakers can't seem to reach an agreement. Plus, how the Biden administration is trying to bring down tensions in the Middle East.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The pushback from Republicans on the Hill has been fierce after senators released a border and Ukraine-Israel aid deal yesterday. Fox News correspondent Alexandra Hoff has more from Washington, D.C.
We're all fighting for a safer, more secure border and country.
The Texas governor on the front lines of the migrant crisis over the weekend, calling on lawmakers in Washington to come to the rescue.
Hopefully passage in the Senate.
But it may take more time. The Senate's bipartisan compromise stirred up bipartisan opposition, including the House Speaker, who called it dead on arrival.
You have to fix asylum. You have to fix parole. You have to end the catch and release. I just don't believe that the Senate bill, as I've explained in all of our statements, meets the criteria that's necessary to solve the problem.
Critics on both sides of the aisle in the House and the Senate are growing more vocal, something even the bill's sponsors admit.
There are going to be some Democrats who will oppose it. There are going to be a lot more Republicans that oppose it.
This was complicated from the beginning. The proposal was President Joe Biden's best chance to send billions more in aid to Ukraine and Israel. And that's brought out even more resistance.
This is not a border security package. This is a Ukraine package. This is aid for Palestinians package. This is assistance to Arab partners package.
But the lead Republican sponsor isn't ready to give up yet.
The worst thing that we can do is just do nothing at this point and to say the status quo is going to remain.
We'll find out Wednesday where this bill stands when the Senate takes a test vote that has to meet a 60-vote threshold to advance. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Well, the fighting is raging on in Gaza. Israeli forces have been trying for weeks to clear southern Gaza, but Hamas is putting up a stronger than expected resistance. Further north, the militant group is starting to reemerge in areas around Gaza City after the IDF pulled back. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Saudi Arabia with a tough goal ahead. He's there to try to find an end game to the war in Gaza. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports from Washington.
Over the weekend, missiles launched from U.S. Navy ships struck more than 24 Iranian-backed Houthi targets in Yemen. It's just one part of the U.S. response to months of attacks on ships in the Red Sea and an Iran-supported drone strike in Jordan that killed 3 Americans.
Again, the U.S. does not want escalation. However, we will not hesitate to defend lives and the free flow of commerce in one of the world's most critical waterways.
The White House says its counterattack is just beginning, with critics unimpressed so far.
It looks good on television. There's a lot of things blowing up, but it's not preventing the Iranians or any of the proxies from continuing to prosecute the attack.
If I were the administration, back channel to the Ayatollah, one more American serviceman's killed, we're going to hit you inside of Iran.
Since mid-October, there have been at least 169 attacks on U.S. forces in the Middle East, including Monday morning in Syria. There were no American casualties this time, but 6 Kurdish fighters were killed, U.S. partners in fighting ISIS.
Are the airstrikes working? Yes.
With increased tensions, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is also back in the region to try to broker a peace deal between Israel and Hamas and guarantee the release of more hostages.
We're going to continue to work with the Israelis to end this conflict as soon as possible.
Yet Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will not end the war in Gaza until the leadership of Hamas is destroyed. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, a bit later, a new study shines light on how drinking on Super Bowl Sunday can impact how you parent.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. We had sunshine returning and temperatures not that bad. Most of us into the mid-50s during the afternoon. It looks good out there right now. Of course, we're looking from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam on top of Cornell, looking northeast through downtown Joplin. We're dry after the rain that we saw over the weekend. Temperatures dropping back, most of us upper 30s to lower 40s at this point in time, but I do think we'll back down near freezing later on tonight. Plus, it was a little bit breezy today. The winds have kind of calmed down, so as we get closer to that dew point and the wind's fairly calm, we're going to get some patchy fog out there late tonight into the morning hours, so watch out for that. All right, the winds stay decently light tomorrow. They start to switch back out the south, but look at this. They get moving again tomorrow night and into Wednesday. We're going to return with gusts kind of in that 30 upwards to 35 mile per hour range, maybe even a little bit stronger once we get into Wednesday evening. Clear skies, we look fine as we go through the rest of the overnight hours tonight. This is kind of our weather right now. We have a big ridge of high pressure to our west. That will give us pretty good conditions for the next couple days. Then we'll start to focus on our next storm system, which is out across the western third of the country. That will start to affect us by Thursday. Not a lot of moisture, but it will change our weather up some. All right, let me walk you through the week. We're going to stop this early tomorrow morning, 32 Stockton, 33 in Monette, Miami 30, Pittsburgh 32. As we go through the morning, we should get into the low to mid 50s by noon. Most of us right around 60 or 61 during the afternoon. Clouds increase tomorrow night. We'll stay dry, nothing underneath them, and we won't get as cold. We'll drop back into low to mid 40s. On Wednesday, a lot of clouds. Those winds start to pick up across the region, but still, we're going to have high temperatures, 59 Fort Scott, 62 in Miami, Bentonville, up to about 60 degrees. Wednesday night, a few random light showers. Trying to get in here. Here's about midnight, some spotty little showers pushing through into Thursday morning. Not a huge deal, but we are going to have some showers out there. All right, here's your day planner for you. Tuesday, 51 by 11, 57 by 1, 60 by 3 p.m. So even warmer than what we saw today. All right, so this system pushes through on Thursday. Get a break on Friday. Look good. Lower 60s. Overall, Saturday looks pretty good. We have clouds increasing, but if we go into Super Bowl Sunday, a lot of people go into Super Bowl parties. We are going to have to watch for the potential of some rain pushing through, maybe even switching over to a little bit of snow by the time we get into Sunday night. So we'll watch that as we go through the week. All right, let's go 60 on your Tuesday, 61 on Wednesday, 66 on Thursday with those showers early. Friday, great. Saturday, pretty nice. Showers, cooler, back in on Super Bowl Sunday.
Doug, well, you could have two of your favorites, a Chiefs win and snow, all on the same day. There you go. Well, coming up in sports, Oklahoma high school basketball playoffs are set. Plus, 3 local high school football players commit to college. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
High school signing day is later this week. This Wednesday, we'll bring you to several high schools in the area that have athletes heading to the next level. And in the last day, several football standouts make their college commitments, one of them being Joplin's signal caller. Joplin quarterback Hobbs Gooch commits to Benedictine College, he announces on Twitter. The Eagle QB is coming off a senior year where he threw for just under 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns while starting 10 games. He also led Joplin to a road playoff win over Kickapoo and an appearance in the district championship. 2 standouts from Lamar make their college commitments as well. Kyler Nance and Ian Googie are teammates with the Tigers and led them to a Class II state championship this season. Now they'll remain teammates in college, both of them committing to Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar. Each of them are first-team All-State performers in 2023, Nance at linebacker and Googie as an athlete. The playoffs aren't here yet for Oklahoma high school basketball. We'll have to wait another week and a half for that. But we do know what the playoff bracket looks like. In Class 2A, Afton will host the District 6 playoff game with Quapaw boys and girls, the visitors. The Eagles girls team is number 11 in the state in the most recent rankings, and the Owls boys team is number 8 in the state. Both games will be played next Friday night. Still in Class 2A, the winners from both of those games will play the winners from both of these games. The District 7 playoff, which is held at Wyandotte. The next round will be played at Fairland the following Thursday night. Wyandotte and Quapaw each have 4 regular season games remaining before getting to the playoffs. Over to Major League Baseball, the Royals make history this afternoon. They ensure one of their franchise cornerstones will stay in Kansas City for the foreseeable future. According to ESPN, the Royals and Bobby Witt Jr. agreed to an 11-year, $288 million contract extension. Witt just finished his second Major League season and is 23 years old. The deal includes a clause that allows him to opt out after the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th years. He led the major leagues in triples this past season and is the first Kansas City player to hit 30 homers and steal 30 bases in a season. This is the largest contract in Royals franchise history. Wrapping things up with college basketball, the Sunflower Showdown between Kansas and Kansas State. Still a close one tonight. About 11 minutes remaining in the second half, and KSU has the 4th-ranked Jayhawks on the ropes. The Wildcats have hit 7 3-pointers compared to just 3 from KU. That's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
The countdown to football's biggest night is on, but as the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers prepare to face off in Las Vegas, off the field, a new study is shedding light about how some parents may behave around their kids while they drink on Super Bowl Sunday. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has the story.
From wings to pizza and subs and nachos, it's almost time to dig into some Super Bowl classics. And for those of legal age, that can also mean cracking open a cold one and enjoying some alcohol. But according to a recent study from the Ohio State University, parents who indulge in some booze during Sunday's big game may need to be mindful about how they interact with their kids throughout the night.
One of the big things that we found is that parents who were drinking on the day of the Super Bowl were much more likely to use aggressive discipline with their children on that same day and during the same time period that they were drinking.
The study examined parents of kids between the ages of 2 and 12, and the types of aggressive discipline included spanking and calling the child names.
If you're used to just having 1 drink a night, and on the day of the Super Bowl you have 5 drinks because it's a long day, then how you react to that might be different. If you're having a party or you're going to a party, you're going to want your kids to pay attention, behave, and if they're not, you might react more harshly than you might otherwise.
Researchers also say the parents who took part in the study were mostly moms.
We know that women make up about 49% of the NFL viewing population. They're also primary caregivers. What you often see is that women are doing the discipline during those times. And if they're also drinking and they're also stressed, they can also be using that aggressive discipline.
To try and prevent an unwanted reaction, the study recommends parents hire a babysitter or tire their kids out before kickoff so they're less likely to get loud during game time. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Researchers also evaluated how parents discipline their kids after drinking alcohol on Valentine's Day. According to the study, parents who consumed alcohol then were less likely to use aggressive discipline tactics. Researchers believe this could be because alcohol use on Valentine's Day is often at a restaurant, away from kids. Well, Pennsylvania bakeries' cakes are on fire. Literally, KK's Cakes, in Philadelphia is jumping on the latest confectionery craze with burn cakes. But the owner is putting a Super Bowl twist to it with different Kansas City Chiefs themes. One cake featuring a shirtless Jason Kelce went viral on social media. The cakes have 2 types of sugar paper on top. One burns faster and cleaner, exposing an image underneath. Well, coming up, musical artists gathered last night for the 66th Grammy Awards. See who took home the top prizes. The 66th Grammy Awards took place last night at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, hosted by Trevor Noah. The show brought a night of hit music and history-making wins. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a recap.
From those taking home Grammys Gold to those delivering show-stopping performances, here are highlights from music's biggest night.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift made history as the first artist to win Album of the Year 4 times when she took the trophy for Midnights. She was presented the award by Celine Dion, who made a surprise appearance amid her battle with stiff person syndrome. Earlier in the night, Swift won her 13th Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album and used the milestone to announce her next album, Tortured Poets Department, is out April 19th.
Billie Eilish.
Female artists ruled the night, including the Big Four awards, with Song of the Year going to Billie Eilish for Barbie's What Was I Made For? Best New Artist went to Victoria Monet. Miley Cyrus won Record of the Year for Flowers, and before that, she won her first ever Grammy for the song, too.
How far we've come.
In special honors, Jay-Z received the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. While accepting, he called out the Grammys for his wife, Beyonce, having a record number of Grammys but never Album of the Year.
This is mine, you can't take it.
The In Memoriam tribute featured performances by artists including Stevie Wonder, Fantasia Barrino, and Annie Lennox. Lennox ended hers on a political note calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
You got a fast car.
Among the many stars who took the stage, Tracy Chapman joined Luke Combs for a moving duet of Fast Car. U2 rocked out the first ever broadcast performance from the Sphere in Las Vegas. Joni Mitchell made her Grammys performance debut. Billy Joel played his first single in 30 years and closed out the night. Artists making music history and winners taking their place in Grammys history here at the 66th Grammy Awards. In Los Angeles, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Quite a night. And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of seal pups in the Gulf of St. Lawrence in Canada. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.